This is the 10-minute brief, and what you're about to hear might change how you see everything. A U.S. aircraft carrier strike group, the most powerful weapon of war ever devised, is not heading to the Middle East. It's not steaming towards the South China Sea. Its new battleground? The war on drugs. This was the moment a new front opened, a shadow war that blurred all the lines. This isn't just a policy shift, it's a strategic earthquake. The breaking news came in with a flash of fire. A suspected drug boat off the coast of Venezuela, obliterated by a U.S. military strike. It was the 10th such attack. But the real escalation was what happened next. The order came down from the highest level. Deploy the USS Gerald Ford. A nuclear-powered aircraft carrier with its squadron of F-18 fighter jets, its missile launchers, its attack submarines, and 5,000 troops was being sent to the Caribbean. This was no longer a policing action. This was the projection of raw, overwhelming force onto a new kind of battlefield. The president was asked if he would seek a declaration of war. His response was chillingly simple. I don't think we're going to necessarily ask for a declaration of war. I think we're just going to kill people. Subscribe to the 10-minute brief and never look at war the same way again. But this military gambit was unfolding against a backdrop of a nation cracking under pressure at home. A government shutdown, now in its 24th day, left hundreds of thousands of federal workers without pay. Inflation was soaring, with beef prices skyrocketing, a direct result of escalating trade wars. The president had just cut off talks with Canada, not over a major treaty, but over a television ad featuring Ronald Reagan. The fabric of the nation seemed to be fraying. A National Guard plane crashed onto a highway. A Delta jet aborted takeoff with flames shooting from its engine. A deadly crane collapse in Boston. A Category 4 hurricane, Melissa, was barreling towards Jamaica, threatening catastrophic flooding. And on the streets of California, federal agents opened fire on a U-Haul truck during a protest at a Coast Guard base, a stark symbol of the rising domestic tensions. This was the reality. While the carrier group sailed towards a new, undefined conflict abroad, the homeland felt increasingly unstable. It was a classic strategy. Divert attention outward when pressures mount inward. But the targets were not another nation's army. They were shadowy cartels, an enemy without a flag, operating in the gray zones between crime and war. This new doctrine raised a terrifying question. What are the rules of engagement when you are not at war? One lawmaker voiced the quiet fear. You can't randomly just blow up the enemy without identifying them unless you're at war. But the line had already been crossed. The carrier was a statement. It was a message that the full machinery of the state could be brought to bear on any threat, real or perceived, foreign or domestic. The strategy was clear. Project Absolute Strength. But the reality was a nation navigating a storm of its own making, both meteorological and political. It was a gamble of epic proportions, a test of whether sheer military power could solve problems that were, at their core, deeply complex and human. So we are left with a single haunting question. When a superpower turns its weapons of war inwards on a problem of crime and outwards in a battle without borders, what becomes of the very idea of peace? Thanks for watching the 10-minute brief, where history isn't just told, it's felt.